thing that makes Packard so special was that they were a premier American luxury marque that the wealthy, the movie stars, they were an engineering company that really made a fine automobile that people lusted and sought after, that wanted to have the finest of things. And it was a status symbol. Packard was often referred to as the American Rolls-Royce. So Packard started by two brothers. In 1899, they produced their first model in Warren, Ohio. They later moved in 1903 to Detroit, and that's when the empire of Packard really started to expand and grow into a premier luxury car maker. Very focused on their engineering, always trying to produce the best products, the smoothest products, the most reliable products. And of course, on the onset of the Great Depression in October of '29, all the luxury brand car companies really suffered and faltered. Many went under shortly thereafter. Packard, to stay in business, did offer a more affordable car to the masses to compete with the likes of General Motors and Ford. And that kept them in business, but it already kind of tarnished their reputation as a luxury brand. And after World War II, they really just got outproduced. As an independent car maker, you know, any of the independents that were still in business after World War II really suffered. And unfortunately, the last Detroit-built Packards were 1956. You know, they were in competition with the likes of the V16 and V12 Cadillacs, the big Lincolns, the Pierce Arrows, the Marmons. Those you know, Peerless. Those were their direct competitors. That was the market they were targeting. And a lot of those car companies, because of the Great Depression, did not survive because folks that still had money did not want to show the rest of the world that they were of means still. So the luxury car market really took a dive after October of '29. So this 1929 Packard is a model 645 with coachwork by Dietrich. In 1929, Packard offered the 645, which was a 145-inch wheelbase, 5 inches longer than their standard catalog-bodied cars, which were the 640s. 6 designates it's a 1929, 45 designates it's a 145-inch wheelbase. Some of the things that are really specific to what we do here are that we make these cars run, drive, start, stop, do everything they did when they were new. And kind of by accident, we fell into what I would call a drivability shop. Most folks focus on restoration, start to finish, as do we, but we really found there was a much bigger need for folks that own these cars that wanted to enjoy them and drive them on tours, and where do you bring them to get them serviced? And that's what we've really focused our efforts on, is really making these cars do everything they did when they were new and make them reliable again. When James Nance became president of Packard in 1952, he wanted to get something to get buyers back into showrooms, so he wanted a new show car. He had Henny, coach-built company, design and build the Pan American show car, which was a 2-seater, 2-door convertible. From that derived the production-bodied Caribbean. two-door convertible, but it did have seating for 4. European flair with having a Continental kit and a fake hood scoop and wheel well accent chromes. And in 1953, they introduced the 53 Caribbean to much fanfare. 750 models were produced, and they were really the draw car for dealers. That would be the high-volume dealers would get the Caribbean, they'd put it in the showroom, and that would be the model that people would come in to see, but not necessarily buy. They would hopefully move another product off the lot. It was really, again, for the discerning buyer that wanted something special. Packard carried the Caribbean from 53 to 56, all low production volume all those years. In 54, they produced 400 models. In 55, 500 models, and in 56, 263. The 54 model that we have here is undergoing a complete frame-off restoration. Every nut, bolt, hose, clamp, you name it, has been addressed on this car. The engine and transmission have been rebuilt here in our shop. Suspension, drivetrain, everything has been gone through on this car, and the owner of this vehicle is really hoping to have one of the best 54 Caribbeans in the country. Packard and Studebaker merged in the 50s, and to try to combine powers to be able to combat against the big three, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Chrysler. And the idea was that with more range of vehicles to sell to a broader market and a bigger dealer network, they would be able to stay afloat. And that was a good idea on paper. Problem was Studebaker was in more financial dire than Packard was. So Packard was to be the upper offering in the Studebaker-Packard lineup. The Clipper was the middle of the road, the Studebaker was the low end, and of course specialty models derived here, there, and everywhere. And unfortunately, by 1956, the Packard had just made too many wrong decisions, and they decided to close up their manufacturing plant in Detroit and move all operations to the Studebaker plant in South Bend, Indiana. By 1957, the proposed Packard design for the new 1957 year was thrown away, and Studebaker Packard executives decided to just take a Studebaker and rebadge it with Packard badging, change a few things here and there to call it a Packard, but under the skin was a Studebaker. And really, you know, they did that for 2 years, 57, 58, and then after 58, the Packard name disappeared from the automotive world altogether. A lot of folks consider the 56s the last true built Packards because they were the last ones built in Detroit, but the name did live on for 2 more years. One of the best things about my job is I love coming in every day. You know, I really am one of those people that can say I love coming to work every day. I like surrounding myself with good people, and we've got a great group of guys here that work with us. We get to work on some of the best cars in the world, and we work with passionate owners that are excited about what they've purchased. You know, these are not guys that just want something wham bam, in and out. You know, we're working to make these cars better and leave better than they came in. And I think I speak for everybody in here. We're all pretty passionate about cars and get excited about what we get to work on. And every day when something new comes in, you know, it's exciting. So we're really lucky in that sense.